morning and happy Monday. Today is the 5th, I think, 5th of March, and it is 10:43, and so far today is going well. Smoothly might not be the word, but I managed to get quite a lot done despite the fact that it wasn't running that smoothly to start with. James was meant to have, he gets regular injections. He was meant to get one on Thursday, but that's the day the snow was the worst, so he couldn't go. So it was moved to this morning. So it was kind of I brought her went to work. No, I brought her went to school, then brought James to the doctor's. While he was having his injection, I went to the shopping centre to get some petrol in the car, came back to pick him up, dropped off my orders to post, then picked James again from the doctor, went to the shop to get a few things, dropped him off at the train station, came back home, and now I am using up, I've been on a mission to use up a lot of the stuff from the cupboards and the freezer. So I've been meal planning with what we have, and I'm very proud to announce that this is what's left in my like dry food cupboard. So we have tea, biscuits, 2 tins of chopped tomatoes, which I use like to make sauces and stuff like that, some sweet corn, coconut milk, a korma sauce, and pear halves. This is all that's left, and it was full, and I am tired of throwing out food because it gets at the back of the cupboard and I can't see it, and we're doing quite well at meal planning at the moment. Then we also have we have one thing with pasta and all, which I need to tidy up because, see, James took pasta out yesterday. I kind of threw them back in. I need to reorganize this because, yeah, this is kind of like pasta, rice, couscous, stuff for salad like crouton stuff, noodles, lentils, you know, things like this. And it feels great. And this is down there is the breakfast stuff. Also, my freezer was overflowing, and we have been using a lot of the stuff. Now it's still quite full, but at least it's back into categories, so whenever I order my shopping I can know straight away which one looks empty and what we need to order. But it's actually at the perfect stocking level at the moment. We are running quite low in homemade ready meals, so I'm gonna make more of those in the next few weeks. And yeah, one thing that has been really helpful is having that Alexa Echo, the Amazon Echo I think it's called. Do you know what you can say? Oh. Alexa heard her name and now she's talking, and I'm going to show you what I do as I go along during while I'm cooking. I'm going to order the shopping later, and I'm going to show you what I'm doing. Alexa, add bananas to the shopping list.
Got it. I put bananas on your shopping list.
Alexa, add apples to the shopping list.
Got it. I put apples on your shopping list.
And on my phone, while I go to do my shopping, I have the app. And I am going to show you, it will be easier. If on the app, then I have a shopping list. And then it gives me everything that I have added to it, which is very handy. Let's load it up and then I'll show you. See, this is my list, and then I can tick it up as I go along. So during the week, whenever I run out of things, or while I'm doing this, like cooking, and I usually order my shopping on Monday, I just add the stuff to the list, so then once I go to do my shopping online, I make sure there's everything. And this is one of the ways I make my life a lot easier. So what I'm cooking right now is, we had mince in the freezer. Whenever the snow was really bad, I took it out because I thought might as well use up stuff like this. So in here we have mince, onions, garlic, Worcestershire sauce, salt, pepper, herbe de Provence, bouquet garni. It's like I'll show it to you like this. It's this. Well, this is very French, like all my herbs I'm using right now are from a, sorry, it's not focusing. It looks like a tea, but there's like loads of tea bags, so then you can you put it in to cook and then you take it out. And then herbe de Provence is a mix that I grew up on. If you come from Provence, you just use that everywhere. And inside we have thyme, rosemary, basil, marjoram, oregano, and tarragon. So it's like a mix of herbs, and this is what I use a lot. Those two, I use the most of. And there's olive oil, and I think that's it. I kind of make it up, I kind of throw things in. It's just to use up the mince. And then I have a tin of smash. It's best before the end of February, only the 5th of March, so this is getting used up so it doesn't end up in the bin. And I'm going to make some kind of shepherd's pie type of thing. Well, mince at the bottom, smash at the top, in the oven, dinner sorted. So I am really happy because, I don't know if you can see, but my plants are coming up. And these are the sweet pea, which have never ever grown before. And we have two, this one and this one, that are coming out. This one, oh, there's one I can see. Well, they all seem that they are going to come through. These are the tomatoes. I need to make a bit better labels. I have cards like this. These are the courgettes. It takes a bit longer for courgettes. And cucumber I've never grown either. So, and then this will be for the stuff I will grow later on that needs to be planted a little bit later. But one thing I'm very proud of is that I planted in here some what do you call them again? I can never remember. Plants that grow at this time of the year. They have like a tall thing with loads of little flowers, and there's blue ones and purple ones and pink ones. What do you call them again? Anyway, there's crocuses there that are starting to come out, very shy. But these were meant to be planted, both of them, by the end of December to work, and I planted them at the end of February, and I was worried that they wouldn't grow. But I planted 3, and look, and there's 5, and so far there's 3 that are coming out, so we'll see. I don't have too much hope, but it was reduced half price in home base, and I like the pots, so I thought worst case scenario, I've given it a shot, but it seems like it's growing. And these are my tulips from Tesco's, which are so nice. That was £5, and this is £5 of happiness for me. And this is my little jasmine, which I love and smells so nice. And this is my other sweet pea that hasn't grown yet, but I have planted it on the 2nd of March, so only 3 days ago. So obviously, yeah. I'm feeling very excited about the prospect of spring, although, I mean, it doesn't look like it yet, but the snow is almost all melted. I mean, we still have some in there, and there's little patches of snow. The garden is soaked, and it's raining now, so the rain is actually melted a lot of the snow. I can't wait to get back into gardening properly. And the thing that is kind of exciting, we are not going to France this summer for the first time in ever. It's the first time, it's the first summer of my life I will not be in France. And in a way it's a bit, it was a hard decision, but it had to be done that way. We're going for Easter. We couldn't afford to do both, and then Christmas again after, so we had to make that decision. And then the car broke down and costed so much money. It's actually a good thing we didn't make that decision before, because otherwise we would have had to cancel the holidays, and I think it would have been harder if it was planned and it had to be cancelled. So that way it makes it easier. But I'm trying to focus on the positives of this, and the positive side of things that it will be also the first time that I don't have to stop gardening before the end of the summer. I can continue on because I'll be here to try new things. So there's a lot of plants that I usually wouldn't plant because I wouldn't be there to harvest them or to take care of them, because we go away for 2 weeks usually. Now I can plant them, so that's my way to see things in a positive way. I can try new things, and I'm very excited about that. And here is the finished thing. I'll just put it in the oven and just heat it up tonight. Actually no, I just remembered that my oven needs to have a cleaning cycle done. For the sake of ticking boxes today, I'm going to do it now, because I won't need my oven until later on tonight, so I have plenty of time. I'm also not going to leave the house. I don't like to leave it on when I'm not in the house. I mean, it turns itself off and all that, but I just don't feel happy doing that, because I don't know why, I just don't. So I am going to do it now, because I still have 3 hours before I'm leaving the house, so at least this can be done. This is a really typical Alfie situation. We have Alfie in a basket surrounded by 2 chairs. Don't know why, but they have to be there, and with a train of cars and vehicles. and something on the TV. You alright, Alfie? You tired? Are you hiding? Good morning, it's Tuesday and it's 10 past 10. The boys are in school. The window cleaner has just been. I've tidied up the living room and I am now making the best of what's left in the fridge once again. This is just like what's happened the last few days. So I think I mentioned it before, I had sausages to use up and tomato thing. So I'm making a pasta sauce with sausages. I just sliced them up with olive oil, onions. For onions, I always buy frozen diced onions because it's so handy. You can just put them straight in the pan. They're already chopped up. You don't wreck your eyes. Then I put 2 tins of what do you call them? Those tomatoes. Hold on. Chopped tomatoes. I use Tesco Value. I don't use Tesco Value range for a lot of things because I do find the difference for many things. But for stuff like this that are going to be simmering for hours on a pan, I do. Then I put some tomato puree. I use some garlic paste like this one. What else do I have in there? One of the Bouquet tea bag of herbs like yesterday. Yeah, and then I bring it to the boil. Once it's boiling, first I brown all the sausages and the onions and all. Once they are browned, I just put the rest. I added a bit of water and also a thing of stock. I put chicken stock there, but any kind of stock, I find it gives more flavor. And yeah, then once I bring it to the boil, I'm just going to leave it to simmer. Basically, the longer you leave it on a low heat, the tastier it is. So I'm going to leave it on with a lid. Where is the lid? The lid is in the dishwasher probably. Yes, it is. On with the lid. And I'm going to leave it on while I make a quiche for tonight. Tuesday evening and afternoon is always super rushed because of swimming. Swimming is from 6 to half 6. It's a time that's extremely inconvenient. But I'm hopeful that once I finish this level in 2 weeks, I think, yeah, it'll move to another level. It should really, because he's doing quite well there. And hopefully we get a better time. At the moment, there is a level 3 class. I'm in level 2 right now. And there's a level 3 class just before his. No, I put you in my cupboard. From 5:30 to 6. This would be ideal because it would mean I could go to swimming at a less crazy time, then finish swimming, go and pick James up, come home, and done. At the minute, James's parents have to pick him up because it clashes with the time I go and pick him up at the train station. So they pick him up, bring him to the swimming pool, and then we all go home together. But it's just a big rush. It's too close to bedtime for Alfie as well, so he's grumpy. It's just not a nice time, so yeah. So I'm hoping it changes, but with my luck it might not. We'll see. If it is the same, it will be all right, but yeah, we'll see. We should know. I think it's next week we find. Yeah, it is next week. That's crazy. Next week we find out if he goes up a level, if he gets his certificate. The level he's in, last time he had to repeat because he wasn't ready to move up, and it was a bit tough because in his class I think there was 12 children and only 2 didn't go to the next level, him and another little boy who is in his class now. And all the other kids came into the changing room with their certificate and their badge, and he had nothing, and he was quite upset over it. But in a way, it's a good thing because when he's at school, he is flying, it's too easy for him. So the teacher gives him extra work, but he's not facing a lot of failure in terms of work like this. And at home, he tends to not do the things when he knows he's going to fail. He tries to avoid situations where he might fail, and I think it's important for him to learn to fail sometimes, and that it's okay, and that you can work harder and try again, and then you can succeed, and you can see that with harder work you can succeed. I think it's a very important thing to learn. He's very perfectionist, but he does avoid situations where he could fail. So there he doesn't really have a choice, because it's not really in his hands. Well, making the progress is in his hands, but he was so terrified of water he couldn't get over it. And in the last time, I think it hit him hard, and he realized, right, I need to do something now. And his fear of the water has completely gone, to the point that he's so excited to move on to level 3, because then he will learn to swim underwater. He started swimming lessons in September, and in September he could not even cope with a drop of water hitting his face in the shower. He would scream when I washed his hair. So yeah, it is quite a difference. It's amazing when it's somebody else that has a very scary voice and pushes you really hard, and you feel like you have to do stuff, you can get over this, like, fears like this. But it's been good. I have mixed feelings about this teacher. I think he's one of these people who are very good at teaching like competitive teams and all that. He must be amazing at this, but he also has to teach the younger children who don't really know how to swim very well yet, and I'm assuming that must be a bit frustrating when you can do better. But sometimes it shows. He coaches them like if they were an Olympic team, like the way he talks to them. And I know if I was in that pool, I would be absolutely terrified of him. But I have to say, in the last few weeks, he has really pushed Owen a lot. So I'm gonna eat my own words. When I was complaining about him, thinking it would never work, his technique, it has eventually worked. So I'm just gonna have to admit that I was wrong. Yeah, he has really proven me wrong. It did work in the end. I think one day he just said to you, and take all your discs off your arms and just swim, and he did. And when he said that to him, I could imagine Owen, and it's horrible as a mom to think like that, but it's the reality of things. I thought, oh my god, how is this gonna go? He's never gonna be able to make it this way. And he actually swam better without the discs than he did with the discs on. I think because they're so big, his arms were kind of sticking out, and he didn't have a good posture in the water to float properly, and that's probably why the teacher asked, you know, to get this off. But it's amazing. Now he's swimming with nothing, and I mean, it's like kind of doggy paddle swimming, but he can swim, you know. He can keep himself off the water. The reason why I really want him to learn to swim is because we live beside a lake. And when he comes to teenage years, he probably will go and hang out by the lake with his friends, and I want him to be able to get out of the water if he falls in. It's my main motivation. Also, I think it's a good skill to have, but I don't think I would insist on it as much if we didn't live where we live. I didn't go to swimming lessons. I used to grow up by the beach, so, and like a lot of people have a swimming pool. My granny has one, so I learned in my granny's swimming pool, and my family taught me. I never had the need for swimming lessons. And when I heard that everybody was going to swimming lessons here, first I was thinking, that's really weird, people are really into swimming here. And then I realized, yeah, you can't really just go and learn to swim in the sea here, because it's in the middle of the summer by maybe 7 degrees. So yeah, you can't just learn in the sea. Anyway, that was my big ramble of the day. Probably won't vlog too much more today, but I wanted to update you on my cooking thing, because it seems to be a theme for this vlog. So yeah, I'm gonna make a quiche, and so it's ready for tonight, and the boys can have it before we go swimming, and James and I can have it when we come back. And the sauce for the pasta will be for the next day, so that means then I don't have to cook, which is brilliant. Anyway, I'll see you very soon. Good morning. It is Thursday today, and haven't vlogged the last couple of days because I came down with the flu. Yay! I've been in and sleeping all the time for the last couple of days, but I have to bring my car to the MOT, so I'm going to brave the outside world. I had a shower and hoping I'm looking presentable. Probably going to be exhausted after I've done this, but it needs to be done. My car is not MOT'd at the moment, and I need to get it back on the road, so I have to do this. So fingers crossed it's passing, because we have spent so much money on this car lately. It better pass. It's been serviced and all, had so many things replaced. please. I want my car back in functioning order. So I'm off and I'll let you know after how it went. Car passed the MOT. I'm feeling wrecked now. It's actually a few hours later. Completely forgot to update you, but I am not feeling great at all. My throat is so sore. It's covered in white spots and all. So I think I have tonsillitis too, which is very common for me. So I'm gonna take all my medicine and rest when he's back from school, but Alfie is at James's parents for the rest of the day. They've been really helpful the last couple of days with me not feeling great. They've helped with Alfie when he's old enough to entertain himself and understand I need to rest. But Alfie is not, and I just could not. I wasn't fit enough to take care of him properly on my own. So they came to the rescue, and I'm very, very grateful for this. So I'm hoping that I do feel much, much better today. I don't feel great, but I was not capable of doing anything the last 2 days. I was literally sleeping all day with a really high temperature, but since the temperature has gone down, I feel so much better. So I'm gonna dose myself up with medicine and yeah, just rest, continue to rest. That's the best thing to do. Hello, it's now Friday night. I hope you can hear me well. I am completely deaf from this ear and partially deaf from this one. Yesterday there was a moment where I thought I had turned the corner and the flu was getting better, and I even said to my neighbors, okay, you don't need to pick up Owen, I'll do it tomorrow. I said to James's parents, I don't need you to mind Alfie, it's okay, I'll manage fine now. Then I woke up this morning and I need the help again. And also I'm feeling very nauseous all day. I have a very upset stomach on top of everything else. The flu is one nasty, nasty bug, and I am fed up. So I'm gonna try and make something to eat. I haven't eaten any proper food at all today. James is back now, it's the weekend, so he can help me. And tonight there is a charity concert in France. Well, it's pre-recorded. They do a tour. It's a lot of artists that sing for a charity that is called Les Restos du Cœur and means the restaurants of the heart, and it's a charity that provides meals to homeless people, and they also have like shelters and food banks for people on low income and stuff like that. It's basically providing food to people who need it. And there's hundreds of artists who, well, maybe not hundreds, but like over 100 artists that do a tour where they sing songs that a lot of people know. It's very staged, and it's really good. And they take one of the concerts of the tour each year, and they show it on TV, and the next day they release the CD with the songs of the show and the DVD, and all the profits go to that charity. It's something that has existed since 1985, I think. I think it's as old as I am, or around that time anyway, but I'm pretty sure it's 1985. Or could it be later? I can't remember. Maybe not that old, I can't remember. Anyway, it existed for a long time. Anyway, over 20 years I think, probably closer to 30. Sorry, I'm trying to make my food at the same time. And it's one of those nights I wait for all year round. That and the Eurovision. And this year I had a moment where I thought I might not be able to watch it because I get French TV through a satellite. Now, I'm going to simplify this as much as I can because it's not very interesting for you anyway. The group who owns the company of the satellite box I use for French TV, it's a Freeview thing. They are a private company, and the channel, they are having a conflict over money with the channel that's broadcasting the show tonight. So for a while they stopped broadcasting that channel entirely, and last week I wanted to watch The Voice and I couldn't because it's on that channel too, so I haven't been able to have access to it, and I was terrified that they would not resolve this issue on time for tonight, because I've had a sticker in my planner for a while for this night, and luckily they said that even though they didn't resolve the thing with them, since it was a charity concert, they would broadcast it either way. So I know for sure that even if they stop broadcasting the channel again for tonight, I'm safe, so I can watch my show. I don't have to worry about it. It's still there broadcasting the channel right now, so I don't know if they're going to stop after, but it doesn't, like, I don't mind watching The Voice, but I like to watch The Voice live on Saturday nights, but if I can't, it's not, like, I can watch it online after, so it's not a big deal, but this show you can't watch online, so if I don't see it, the only option I would have is to buy the DVD when I go to France, but it would mean waiting 2 weeks, and it would be not watching it tonight, so that's the kind of problem I have in my life right now. I've been waiting for it, okay? So I'm making myself some plain couscous with nothing. James is gonna have some leftover of spaghetti and the sauce I had made with the sausages inside. I just don't feel like eating anything that has a taste right now. I just want bland food. So that's what I'm having, just plain couscous.